Welcome to Your Wealthy Self with me, Regina Martinelli. This show is about money and a whole lot more. Since wealth begins from within, on this show we focus on being able to expand your capacity for money, success, abundance, and inner wealth for you to have what's most important to you inside and out so you can be your wealthy self. Your wealthy self isn't just about your wealthy self is about honoring your wholeness, that you actually are enough just as you are to have what's most important to you. And what's important to you might be freedom to have more success and money without guilt or shame, or maybe it's the ease in being unapologetically you, or more certainty in your sense of purpose, or feeling daily joy and fulfillment within yourself. Whatever it is that's the most important to you, whatever makes you feel like you're wealthy both inside and out. We say you can create whatever that is without struggle, without fear, overwhelm, or shame. You can actually do it with ease, joy, and certainty. That's what we're all about on this show. And we do all of this through the lens of money, because money is a spiritual highlighter. Money is a way in which we engage with the world, how we react to it, whether we recoil from it, we run towards it, or try desperately to hold on to it, or think it's evil, or even revere it. However we engage with it reflects how much we will allow ourselves to have, how much we feel we deserve or are worth of holding it and keeping it, especially on a subconscious level. Consciously, we may want more and be able to trust ourselves with our choices around money, yet subconscious, we may be sabotaging that exact desire. So when using money as a lens, you can see where the incongruencies show up with what you want around money or abundance and what you actually have or experience. So when you can see the gap between those two things, the real fun begins in shifting what's in the way. And what you want starts to show up more easily than before. And it's a lot like magic. So today we're going to talk about the shame of money. If you've ever noticed how socially it's taboo to talk about money, people feel shame for how much they have or make, and people feel shame for how much they don't have. So I want to start off by talking about the shame of money and try to separate these two things because they are very different and they don't go together. One has the energy of benevolence and blessings, and the other registers in your body as a threat to your survival. So it would be quite useful to untangle them because you wouldn't want your nervous system to be threatened by having more blessings or more money come your way. Would you? No. Excuse me. So shame, we all know it. We've all at one point or another had a parent, teacher, or authority figure cast shame on our behavior in some form or another. Maybe it was verbal, like, how dare you? Or they may have said something like, who do you think you are? You should be ashamed of yourself. Or maybe it was the silent treatment or a scornful eye from across the room. Or maybe you had lots of these in a buffet of shame growing up. I want to define shame, how the dictionary defines it, as a feeling of embarrassment or humiliation that arises from the perception of having done something dishonorable, immoral, or improper. So shame in childhood is really about authority figures having control over youngsters and what they perceive as improper behavior. And this technique of shaming works so well that parents, schools, governments, communities continue to use it at any age to try to control behavior. And this is nothing new, unfortunately. See, shame has one of the lowest frequencies. Its frequency registers lower than fear in our bodies. Shame registers as a death threat in the system, meaning that if I put electrodes on your brain and your nervous system to track the response during someone shaming you, your body would act like it's fighting for its life. Because shame registers as a death threat, which also brings in fear. This is why it's used by so many authority figures to try and control behavior. And that is very destructive, yet it's also a very effective technique. But there's another way to motivate people that's better than shame. It's through love. And I'll be talking more about this in coming episodes. And when we feel shame, it makes it incredibly hard to manifest something that would give us joy on top of that low frequency of shame. No one has ever been shamed into happiness. When the frequency of joy and happiness, when you try to create on top of joy and happiness, that makes it so much easier to manifest something. Because it actually lifts you up. Those frequencies are higher versus shaming brings you down. Like when you've been shamed about not being good enough, and then you're trying to create evidence that you're good enough by working harder, creating something, or building a legacy. All those frequencies of shame around that start to create a more difficult path for manifesting what you want. Because of this, shame gets in the way of you having more choice in your life, having more freedom to be yourself, certainty and clarity, and being able to create your wealthy self. And I don't know about you, but as a child, I was shamed if I talked about money. If I wanted to know about money, it didn't matter how much we had, you just didn't talk about money because someone would shame you for having too much or too little based on their perception of what was too much or too little for you. Or you'd be shamed for enjoying the money you had too much or not enough. Again, it was always based on someone else's filter. It's ridiculous, right? And then there's the entanglement of shame with wanting more money. When people will say, it's materialistic to want more money, or you're greedy if you want more. They may even say, you have enough already, and there's only so much to go around. And if you are a light seeker or consider yourself spiritual, the shame is that if you focus on money, then you are not spiritual. It's as if the desire to have more money disqualifies you from having a connection to all that is, God, the universe, or however you describe it. In other words, what they are alluding to is money taints the purity of your spiritual journey or connection. Really? Yet if money's pure energy, the pure energy of money is the energy of blessings and benevolence, that's like saying if you're really spiritual, you wouldn't focus on blessings and benevolence. Or money, the other thing to realize that money is one way the universe wants to bless us. So you have free will to disregard, dismiss, and recoil from these blessings. Yet wouldn't creating your vision of your beautiful life be easier if you let in the blessings from the universe, all that is, however you want to refer to it? Again, it's always a choice because you have free will of what you receive. Another way we get shamed is the shame in wanting to make more than your family who sacrificed so much for so long and who barely had enough. It's always a question of who are you to have it better, easier, more abundant than they did? Are you good enough to deserve to have it easier? Often when we don't feel worthy of the success we desire, we will augment our worth by creating struggle in our lives. This is where you hear people say, I'm successful and I sacrificed a lot to get here, but it was worth it. Or they may say, you have to work hard for money, or you have to put in your time, no pain, no gain. People try to combat this shame by then working hard for their money, so they feel more deserving of money. They will say, you have to work hard for money. It doesn't grow on trees. It's a sacrifice and it takes work to be successful. As a side note, when you believe you have to work hard for money, then you will have to work hard for your money. And I'll talk more about this in my upcoming episode on money beliefs. Anyway, these types of beliefs make speaking out loud about how much you want to make or naming your price for your services really hard. Saying what you really want can feel risky or scary because you could be upsetting others by wanting more or charging more. And that shame starts to bump up against you feeling safe. That is when doubts, worries, uncertainties, and concerns show up. And you start to turn against yourself. You don't reach for more. You don't charge more or enjoy what you have, all in order to join in someone else's perception of you don't need more. It's greedy to want more. There's only so much to go around. Who are you to have it better than others? You don't deserve it until you've really struggled enough. And when we buy into this conversation, it's just a conversation, these other people's perceptions of how our life should be, then there's a bit of relief on some level because we feel like we belong to that group Our creature neurology knows it's safer in numbers to belong to a group so that relief can feel good. Yet there's always a part of you that knows this is not your truth. And that's where the rub comes in, because we are denying who we are in order to belong. And it feels like we have to choose between who we really are or belong to a community or a family that we love, whose beliefs are not the truth for us. This is where we turn against ourselves, and it causes so many more entanglements, heartbreak, and diminished self-appreciation. I'll be talking about this more in coming episodes. It's a very, very important topic. We have a lot to discuss, if you can't tell. But here's the joke. It's so silly. All of this is other people's stuff, about their worth, about their own deserving, and their own beliefs about their ability to have what they want. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with your worth or your being able to have what's important to you or your right to belong to a family or a group that you love. See, money is just energy. And if you experience anything else around money, shame, fear, overwhelm, greed, scarcity, dread, all of that has been projected onto it. And this is what creates entanglements, struggle, uncertainty, and blocks from money showing up in your life with ease, fun, and delight. See, money wants to support you. Money is the energy of blessings and benevolence. It's one way the universe, all that is, God, however you phrase it, it's one way the universe wants to bless you. I cannot say this enough. You can resist it, you can refuse it, you can recoil and shame it away, and it will comply. Money will comply to your dreading it, and it will go away. That is your choice. We all have an opening which allows good things into our lives. And the smaller the opening that you have, the harder and longer it will take for you to get what you desire. If it's super small, it's just going to drip, drip, drip in. So why not open it up just as big as you can and allow just a bit more into your life so that it can flow more easily with more regularity, certainty, or with more fun. Everything you do to open that aperture a little bit wider, the more money can come to you and bless you and be an ally for you. I worked with a client recently, and what surprised me is she was willing to take money for work she doesn't like, yet feels guilty asking for money for the talents and services she does enjoy doing. Her incredible gifts and talents are needed in the world, yet telling herself consciously doesn't make a difference because she's still stuck. What I'm saying is you can say you're worthy and deserving. You can say it consciously, but it doesn't make a difference because her subconscious beliefs are still running the limiting patterns that she's not worthy of having what she wants. So she feels shame for not doing what she wants and for not feeling worthy enough to take the chance. Do you find yourself more willing to do jobs you don't like instead of pursuing the ones you love and feel good about being paid for it? When you do this, you are telling yourself subconsciously and consciously that making money is a function of doing what you don't like. And it's not possible to make a living doing what you enjoy. And the shame that goes with this is the symptom of not feeling worthy or good enough to offer something of real value. It keeps a limit on the abundance that you can bring forth for yourself. I've seen this struggle before many times with clients I've worked with. And this was me when I was in my 30s. Now, thankfully, it's no longer me. See, this disconnect often stems from subconscious beliefs that making money requires you to work hard, struggle, sacrifice, and that you don't deserve abundance for simply doing what you love. Or if it comes too easy, then that's supposed to be shameful as well. When we are aligned with the truth of who we are, we feel good about ourselves. We have clarity, we have freedom, certainty of purpose, and self-appreciation. Yet when we have a belief that we are not enough, that we are not worthy, it's a lie that we take on. This is actually not the truth of who we are. In the lie, we believe we are not enough and that there is something wrong with us, something missing or something broken. And we experience heartbreak around this, are not being truly seen and known for who we uniquely are. That heartbreak is about us not being able to see and who we really are and feel good about ourselves. And that can make us feel shame. And this is profound. At some point, a part of us is always in touch with our eternal soul, which is magnificent beyond belief. And when we try to take on this identity of not being enough, that we are defective in some way, it actually separates us from the experience of what's really true about ourselves. And then we don't have clarity about our value or certainty of who we really are. And this can cause deep sadness or grief. For many of you, your parents did not see the truth of you. They saw a distorted version of you, which also means your parents were not able to receive love from you either. This is heartbreaking on many levels because it's a universal primal need for us to have the people we come from, the people we love, to know that we love them. And if they cannot receive love from us for their own reasons, often we as children will think it means there's something wrong with us. And to add salt to the wound, shame and worthlessness go hand in hand. Not being worthy is about feeling bad about yourself. And if it's fueled by shame, then there can be this feeling that our experience of worthlessness and being undeserving is actually accurate. And this creates all sorts of entanglements and struggles with money and hardships in creating what's most important to you. Because we will not allow ourselves to have more than we believe we deserve. And we will feel we are worthless or undeserving when we won't allow ourselves to have more, or at the very least subconsciously, we'll make sure we have to work really, really hard with lots of struggle to be worthy of what we want. And it's not true. It's simply not true. Your worth is eternal, immeasurable, and your deserving is unlimited as a divine child of the universe. As I keep saying, money is the spiritual highlighter. And it's great at finding where you feel undeserving, unworthy, where you feel shame or guilt or fear or any kind of constrictions or uncertainty and struggle and deep wounds. And none of these will allow you to have more of what's important to you with ease and joy. Money is a great lens for finding out what is in the way so we can become aware of it and then revise it. Revise the beliefs, the stuck patterns, so you can alchemize what's important to you. Because we are all creators. Creating more of what you want is good for all of us. It breaks up the beliefs that you can't create what you want or that you have to deserve it or that it's outside of you under someone else's power. The idea that you can get paid for what you love to do was not widely held as true 20 years ago. It was more of an ideal to reach or strive for the lucky few. Now it's common. If you told people they could not get paid for what they love, there would be pushback. And that's a really good thing. The consciousness has shifted to where more and more people believe you can get paid for what you love to do. So these other unuseful beliefs can change too. And it all starts with you. How you hold yourself if you are willing to let shame go and embrace you are enough just as you are, and that there is enough for you to create your own magnificent life. And when you can remove the blocks to creating what you want, then you no longer have to worry about having enough. You no longer need to perform to be good enough. You no longer need to people please to feel deserving, because you know you already are worthy, deserving, and enough, just exactly as you are in this moment. And if you have more certainty with your boundaries and what you are willing to do and not do, and when you trust that you can create what you need, because being a creator is your birthright, and that the universe has your back because it really does, then you find you really don't need much more. You really don't need to win the lottery to feel secure. You don't need to triple your income to have a lifestyle you want. You start to experience what you can have, what you want show up and manifest in so many other ways than you needing to buy it, or you need to work hard for it, or to save money to have it. This is just one way to create what you want. There are endless possibilities, and when you align with the universe that your existence is enough, that you are worthy of what you desire just because you desire it, and you truly know this, then it shows up in delightfully surprising ways without you having to figure out how to get it or to strategize it. And the more people who have what they want and have it with ease and certainty and joy, then the better it is for everyone. Because the more people who have what they want this way, then there's more evidence for the rest of the world, the rest of the doubters and naysayers who still believe you have to struggle and sacrifice or work hard to have what you want. Because that more evidence that's there, that you can have what you want with ease and clarity, then the harder it is for the doubters to hold onto their beliefs. The less their beliefs seem to be the truth, and the more it's possible, and that possibility lives for them to step into new beliefs of how it can be so much easier in creating what they want to. I know this to be true because this was me, and this is what I want for you and for the world. the more each and every one of us knows that we can create what we want with ease, and we get there by removing the limiting beliefs that hold the opposite to be true, the more we can experience having more of what we want with joy and aligning with the truth of who we are, the more we can create a world of peace. So what if the next generation grew up knowing themselves as creational beings, creating their own realities and experiences in a way that didn't have to have the burden of the past, the shame, the struggles, the hardships, and the fears? That's a world I would love to be in. So give yourself permission to let go of the shame. We build our money beliefs from a legacy of ancestry, and it gets passed down from our ancestors for generations, based in their experiences, their struggles, their pain, guilt, and shame. That can be over now. You letting go of the shame helps the future generations grow up with a different, more empowered legacy towards money. One that isn't based in competition, scarcity, fear of not having enough, or that money is evil. It gives them a chance to experience money as the energy of blessings and benevolence, and to create something new that moves us all forward. So I love doing these little moments of adoration. The more you allow your opening for good things to come into your life, the more you do anything that makes you happy, the better it gets for all of us. Because your happiness sends out frequency waves, quantumly, that make an impact on the rest of the world. Big or small, it does not matter the size. Because either way, you will have an impact on the world. The question is, will it be one of pain and struggle? Or will it be one of sharing your joy and your happiness? Even in the slightest joy and the smallest thing makes an impact. We don't get to control how big of an impact we make, but we can decide if it's one based in fear or one based in joy, beauty, and inspiration. So these are the topics we'll continue to delve into, working on and untangling, so that you have more choice in what your life will be like, more freedom to be authentically you with ease, and to experience more clarity along with certainty and security in your life. My team and I want to help you get the support you're seeking, so you can send questions you have for topics you'd like us to tackle or questions, and you can send them here to Your Wealthy Self at 360tvlive.com. Thank you for tuning into Your Wealthy Self. Make sure you tune in next week when we dive deeper into creating your wealthy self. I love and adore you. You are an incredibly beautiful and precious being. And please know you are enough just exactly as you are.